Welcome back to the Trim Healthy Mama podcast. I'm Dan Sanchez, and of course, I'm joined here by Pearl and Serene, and I'm clearly not Danny.
But you're Dan.
I'm Dan, and I don't know. It would be fun to have both of us on the podcast live, and we can have a little bit of a battle of the Dans, right?
Yes. Well, he's
And
Danny, and his name is a little longer. So does that have clout? Like, he's
but
Danny.
Sometimes
It
he's
arrives-
Dan.
derives from Dan, tribe of Dan. It's a thing.
Okay.
And you both have 4 children, and you're both around the same
And
age.
you both look like you
Kinda
hail
like
from
Latino-ish,
from the,
Yes.
from the Mexican warlords.
Somewhere in there, there's some Latino genes. Yeah, so there's some overlap, but obviously we're very different people.
You both have cool hair. I can
It's
give
the
you
hair.
that. Yeah.
Got some product in the hair. So we're practically brothers. So 2 Dans. But today we have a special surprise because we're going to be unboxing your new book.
Oh.
Right? 7 Skills. We have it here in the box. And I want to kick it off with just unboxing this thing. So I think it's a special moment. I think the first time I wrote a book and then I unboxed it and actually got to see it, it's like this moment of like, oh my gosh, this thing. But how has it been for you
it's
unboxing a book for the first time?
Well, I think the only one that I remember doing an official unboxing was our first one with the baby.
Yeah.
And we were doing it in our mother's basement. And I
Yeah.
remember that day. That was like this big mammoth day. But I can't really remember doing. Did you just open them at your house without
They
me?
always came to me because I'm the responsible sister. I opened them, drove over to Serene's and like, look
then
at
it
our
was
new
after-
book.
it was
So
after the
this is
fact.
probably the first time you have opened one of our books
Yeah.
by yourself. Should I let you
Yeah,
open this
because I
box?
don't have the post come out all the way through my driveway potholes to my house.
But
Well-
we have never seen this book, The 7 Skills. We have not looked at it. We just sent it
I
away.
thought we just didn't have
Your
good
shortest
housekeeping.
book to date, right? And
I
that's
thought
the
we
thing
didn't
that's
have
about it.
good housekeeping. Like there's just a box up there somebody's not cleaning up.
I-
both have mics in front of your face. I'll kind of move the box.
I want to see, I want to see how small this book is because you guys, we have never written a book this little, and I want to see.
We
how.
promised it was an afternoon read, so let's see if it looks like it will be an afternoon read.
Oh my goodness, this box is full of books. It's not just one. Okay, hold on. It's little.
Whoa.
It's,
Oh, I
Wow.
love it.
it's a little
It's
baby.
Let's see,
definitely
it's
an
got-
What?
afternoon read.
Yeah.
You could even fan yourself during church. It has a flexibility because it's so nice and small,
How many words is it?
It's 60,000, but that includes
Okay.
the recipes. So the actual information is not much.
I love it.
We said this is our first
Fits in, you
afternoon
yeah.
could
read.
fit in a purse.
Yeah.
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 It looks like the recipes are about, I'd say, a quarter of the book. So it probably puts it down to like a 42,000 word read. Oh, no, it's even more than that. These are lots of recipes in here.
Okay.
Well, I'm just so proud of the fact that,
Are you proud of us?
yeah, I'm proud of us because I never thought that we could do something so little.
So concise.
Yes.
We're wordy.
We like to go big on everything, even bowel movements.
Oh, great. You had
Yes.
to do that. You had to go and destroy this podcast.
Well,
I don't know. I
just
think that's the
being
entertainment
honest.
factor right there.
It's just
No,
honesty.
people were about to click pre-order, and then she said bowel
Bowel
movements big. And they were like, forget
I
the
think-
pre-
Trim
I think
Healthy
at least
Mama
3 people
movement
ordered
and
it because
join
of
the-
that.
Join the Trim Healthy Mom movement. Join the movement.
Well,
But you know what? You know what's funny about this?
Yeah.
We can pause here because this is a big moment on this book. This is the book after the 1,000-page book. So we go from 1,000 pages with Trim Healthy Wisdom to 150 no, not even that, because that's the index. 140 something pages, and a quarter of that is recipes.
So you got everything you need
more,
here.
even more.
You got the
Because you got
7
cheat sheets and everything. in
You got the
here.
7 skills to last you your whole lifetime because it's lasting health. And then you got your recipes. And then you got your cheat sheets. Like, what more do you need?
But yeah,
I'd say it's 40,000 words because when you
Yeah.
actually go back to where like the book stops, it's almost halfway.
yeah. So guys, I mean, if we've got 4 weeks to go, don't we, or 3 till it launches?
Yeah.
If you haven't picked it up yet, do so in the pre-order anywhere. You can go to Christian Book, you can go to Amazon, do it, and then you get the goodies, all the goodies
Yes.
that
What
come
are
with
the
Yes.
it.
goodies again? Are we going to tell them again, the goodies, just in case?
There's a whole list. I'm gonna
There's a
pull
whole
it.
list.
I mean, you
I
get
know there's videos.
we
of
get
us.
videos of making the recipes in here, and then we do mini podcasts, not us going on and on like we do here.
No,
concise ones about each skill.
they were like this concise book.
And if you go to actually Christian Book, who we love and we've partnered with them, they're really getting behind this book. They actually have even more goodies,
That's
right? So you can pre-order and get even more.
Yeah, I love me
goodies.
some Christian book.
Really nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I like that. Can I just have it here like a little
You can.
comfy?
I think this is what is it? Would you call it a day read or an afternoon read?
Afternoon
I mean,
read, mate.
Yeah,
Depends on the style of reader you are. If you have a billion screaming children, it could be a few
take a while.
afternoons.
It's funny how always people, we always think of where we're at because Serena always gives that little caveat. If you have a billion screaming children, because that's where her life has been. So she pictures all of you.
I still have 7 in the house. Okay, they're not little toddlers screaming, but they're older children that are loud with their music and their conversation. So
She thinks of you guys as you have a billion screaming children too, because that's her life. So why wouldn't you have that?
yeah.
Yeah. I only have one screaming child, usually at a time. I got one 3-year-old that's she's just a little extra,
Yeah.
But everyone's got to have one. Sometimes you get a whole house full of them, but I got of my 4, one of them is like really, makes you is extra.
Oh, you always got one of those in a bunch.
Yeah.
Pearl
So
had a few that were almost the kind of demon possessed. They weren't, but they screamed so much. I thought that I might have to put them on the prayer list.
I gotta say, I've been looking forward to this book because I love the plan. Read the whole plan, and you even called me out in the plan. You you have a little message for men in the plan.
In our plan book?
Yeah, in the plan book.
That came out like
You're like,
8 years
hey,
ago?
we know you're probably not a man reading this. You're a mama, but for the few souls out there reading this book, and I'm like, oh my
And
gosh,
you
this
were
is
one
to
of
me
those
right
few
now.
souls.
I'm like one of the few souls reading the
Aw.
book Trim Healthy Mama plan.
That's precious.
And you were like, you made a little message. I was like, oh, okay. So I've been looking forward to this because I really like the plan. But the plan, you sit down, you're like, that makes sense. That makes sense. And you go and open your fridge and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot to think about. I didn't realize I don't understand fats and proteins as well as I thought I did.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I haven't read it yet.
It'll fit in your mirrors.
Yeah.
It will.
Nate's got a comment.
Oh, we've got live people watching.
Let's
Hello, our
go.
live lovelies.
Hello.
So on YouTube, I don't know.
I'm going to share my mic. Nate.
Share it really quick. On YouTube, someone says, and it says last we TB. I don't know what that means, but very nice. Congrats. I have mine ordered. Will be much easier to share THM with this book.
Yes. I think it's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
Was
it
to try to
is.
condense the most important things into a much more consumable.
But do you know what?
Package.
Yes. So many people asked us, hey, I want to give something to my sister-in-law
Yeah.
or my friend, and I don't want to give your largeness. But that wasn't actually the premise of the book. The premise of the book was something we discovered for ourselves and for women doing this. The long-termers, the ones that have sustained this journey, lasting health. I mean, the title is 7 Skills to Lasting Health, right? Serena and I discovered something, like a secret for us and for these women. And we discovered it's not a bunch of rules for them.
Yeah.
We discovered it's nothing to do with the guidelines, nothing to do with all that. It's that they woke up and they practice these things every day.
And it's kind of how it was for us in the
Yeah.
beginning, right? It was just happy blessings that we got to do. But then we got asked for guidelines and rules. We got asked to put them in.
And we're not saying they're not there because people
Yeah.
still like maybe you're the type that just tell me the math, girls. Okay, sure, but that's not the way this plan is best lived. And we teach you how to live it.
I thought that was insightful because, like, when I look at the word skills, I'm like, it's kind of interesting. Like, we talk about skills related to a lot of different things, especially like, my kids are all in sports, and we think about like soccer skills. And I coach soccer with my kids, and I'm like, yeah, of course. Like the first time you go to dribble the ball down the field, you're not very good with it. You got to drill. You got to get comfortable with it. It takes time. It takes practice. You have to fail a lot. And I'm like, but we never apply that to nutrition. We count on education and willpower. And then when we know and then we fail, we blame it on the willpower.
Yeah.
So this kind of reframes it in a really helpful way.
We get filled with shame. I remember the first time I taught Pearl a backward lunge. That was a fun day. That was an interesting
taught
day.
me?
Remember for the work-ins, way back when you hated exercise.
Yes.
I was like, Pearl, you're going to
yes.
do these work-ins videos with me. And that was
Yeah.
when you just like to walk and do
Yep.
a few cha-cha-chas,
I
you know,
remember.
if Jane Fonda cha-cha-cha videos. But I'm like, you're going to, and I remember like she put her knee down like an inch, like, and call it a lunge instead of like all the way almost to the floor. But
Yeah.
it was a skill that you've learned. And now you're doing backward lunges all by your little selfie self with 50-pound goblets, you know.
I'm lunging like a boss.
You're lunging like a boss because it's a skill that you learned. And did
Yeah.
you ever feel shame when you first started? No.
No, I felt stupid.
No, but you didn't care because you were
Yeah.
like, but in time, I'm going to
so
get this.
true.
Yeah.
And you were and we made it fun. You made
Yeah.
it fun. I mean, you laughed your head off at me, but I laughed at myself too. And I think because I didn't get all, like you said, shameful about myself, I was just like, well, of course I'm supposed to not be very good today.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't expecting you to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
that you start.
I have some selfish questions. And it's probably addressed in the book, but because I haven't read the book, I'm going to ask them anyways. I wonder if other people are wondering the same things. There's 7 skills, and you read them, you're kind of like, oh, like I've heard of some of these before, like eat veggies. You're like, okay. But of the 7 skills, is there one that you would start with? Like, which one would you even start with? Do you like progress with skill 1, eat breakfast, or do you kind of pick the one that's the biggest pain point? Do you pick the one you're strongest in and hone that before moving on?
I always like Pearl to fix the things that I blurt out. So I'm going to blurt out and then you can fix it. They don't go in order as far as I'm concerned. Because number 2,
I'll fix that.
eat sufficient protein, I think should be first, but we didn't put it first because you're kind of going to eat, the first meal you're going to eat in the day is usually breakfast. So we started with breakfast, but it really isn't order of importance.
Yeah.
Except we did put separate the fuels as number 4 in a way thinking, don't think about that for a little bit here. But then number 7, give yourself grace, should come at the beginning. So I don't feel like there is an order of importance. If it was me starting, I would start with worrying about my protein straight away first.
Okay. Can I fix you?
Yeah, now I'm nervous. You better not fix what was really good and not broke.
Serene, these skills flowed out of us, and number 1 flowed out for a reason. Yes, sufficient protein, which is skill 2, is all important. But number 1 teaches you that. Number 1 is eat breakfast. And why do we have to start with that? Because that actually puts your mind in the right place.
I said that though.
Yeah,
I
but
said we started with because you have to eat breakfast
I'm just fixing you more. And so I love starting with eat breakfast because in breakfast we teach you actually how to put protein in breakfast. So skill 1 and skill 2 combine. Serene said it. She's like, we used to start people with Trim Healthy Mama on what we've now put as skill 4, which is separate your fuels.
Yeah, it's the most complicated part.
Right, which is E meals and S meals
Yeah,
and crossovers. Yes, fantastic for shedding fat. But we don't want people to start there anymore because it gets them all up in their heads. It gets them out of the flow of skills and all into what with that meal, this meal.
The knickers all get in a wad.
Yeah, your knickers are in a wad, mate.
Yeah.
You get there really in a beautiful flow state when you start with breakfast, when you eat sufficient protein, when you learn about veggies, and then you're ready.
But guess what? Sometimes you never even have to bother about skill 4. We have had so many women who have just shed beautiful amounts of inflammatory weight by anchoring everything around protein, moving their bodies, and
Just
making
stop
sure they
eating
eat
sugar.
breakfast, stopping eating sugar.
Just stop eating sugar
Yeah.
and like probably 50% of the problems.
Skill
Yes.
five. See, skill 5 is skill number 1 too. They all combine.
Yes.
But you're right, Serene. We've got women come to our plan who are pregnant, who are nursing, who are at goal weight. So many don't have to separate.
And we're trim healthy mamas.
Yeah.
We don't separate fuels.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
do on occasion. I know my fuels.
Yeah.
And even those who don't have to separate, knowing them, and we teach you about that in the skill 4, separate your fuels. And we say, hey, even if you don't have to separate, here's why a crossover, where you put the fuels together, is so different from a regular meal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people come to us and say, oh, I'm at goal weight. Does this mean I should do Trim Healthy anymore? Because now I'm ready to put my carbs and fats back together,
It's a good point.
And we're like, well, a crossover does that, but it protects your blood sugar.
It always anchors around protein. Some people on a regular whole foods clean diet, they don't necessarily ask themselves, do they have sufficient protein anchoring this meal? Then they don't ask themselves either, am I spiking my carbs Like, am I having like 2 portions of white rice with just a little bit of steak as a decoration, you know? And, you know, do I have a lot of non-starchy veggies that are going to feed my microbiome here? Like, there's some of these questions, you know, am I having sufficient veggies? Am I having sufficient protein? All of the stuff. They don't ask that. It's just like, you know, is this organic?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is start with breakfast, but probably keep grace in mind the whole time.
Yeah.
It's almost like do this skill and always remember grace, and then do this skill and remember grace. So grace is almost like, even though it's the last skill, it's probably like the skill plus the last skill, skill plus the last skill. It's everyone.
Skill. It's
Yes.
like the gravy.
It's
Pour it,
so
pour it on
good.
skill 4, pour it on skill 1. Just keep pouring it out.
And kind of like Dave Ramsey's got the baby steps. He ends with generosity, but it's not like you have to like be crushing it on all the baby steps before you end with generosity.
Yeah.
Right.
You should be you should build a lifestyle of generosity first as you're going through all the things, right? And I think grace is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's say I get through breakfast and I got a good routine down. I got my smoothie going on and that's my thing, or maybe oatmeal or something like that. Do I just progress to the next one, or I just kind of jump around as needed?
I think it depends on who you are. You know, because my personality, which is kind of like I always put too many spices in the pot at the beginning, you know, I'd be like, I wanted to kind of look over all the skills and kind of juggle as many as I can comfortably without stress.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a person that's like, don't look at any of the others. I'm just going to take one at a time, because some of them overlap, you know, like the sugar thing. We should probably be thinking, let's get rid of the sugar from the beginning. It kind of is the most making sense.
But the other skills help you. See, when when you anchor with protein and you're satisfied and your body's getting what it needs, there's less cravings for sugar.
Yeah.
So all of it does combine. And the good thing is that you can read it in an afternoon. But let's just say you don't want to learn all the skills and you want to do it one by one. That is a perfect approach too. There is not one way to do this. Every woman, every man's going to have their own approach, and that's right for them, and that's grace.
Yeah, that's true. That's grace. You know, and then you could have people, we've always said, don't worry about exercise at first. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Just dial in your diet. Then you'll finally get some energy and you'll want to exercise. That's one approach. We've always taught that. But now we have people that are getting in the gym just because they're like, turning over a new leaf, I'm going to start this. And the gym gives them momentum to want to fuel that workout. Like, oh, I've worked out for a good 25 minutes in the gym. I need some protein. And then they're eating more satiating foods that's stopping the cravings. So it almost like gives them an impetus too from the beginning. So it's like you can be you. Do it how you need to do it.
You can design for physiology or what makes the most sense on paper, but it's really designing for psychology in a way that will keep the momentum going. It's probably the most important thing.
Yes. But we say in there, you know, if you're not doing well with a skill right now, and sometimes you're going to mess up, just take a break from that skill, go back to the skill of give yourself grace, and go back to the basics. The basics are the first 3 skills, which is eat your breakfast, right? Make sure that's in there, because that's going to turn the cortisol down.
And it's not eat your Fruit Loops. We teach you how to eat a good breakfast. So you're eating
eat
a good breakfast.
Protein. I mean, as Serene said, it's really number 1, but it's number 2. And then the veggies. And the veggies mean not just non-starchies, they mean the starchy ones, the good, healthy ones. That means you've got your carbs, your fats, and your protein, but in the best form. That right there is the foundation of your diet. And if you go back to that, you're eating so healthy. Now, maybe the weight's not coming off at 1 pound a week. Doesn't matter. Get those first 3 skills right, baby. You're just setting yourself up.
I think we're honing it. We are honing your question. The first 3 is what you start with. And I don't think we ever had kind of like, we kind of knew it, but we never really said it. And now we're saying it here today. Because when you're anchoring everything around protein, you're eating like a lot of diverse plant foods, and you're having a good breakfast, I feel like you're going to be eating less sugar.
Yeah.
Because that protein is going to take away the cravings. You're eating breakfast, so you're not like starved at 2:30 in the afternoon. Where's the Snickers vending machine? You know, there's just so many things that actually just take care of by default.
Yeah.
Well,
when you got the 3 dialed
There's
in.
not really much room for sugar at all left.
I know.
Because you're eating a lot of other good stuff.
And I think I've heard of many people doing like sugar fasts, right? and you get through them, and maybe you don't make it, your willpower gives up, or maybe you make it, you're just like, frick, that was hard,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, you didn't really give yourself a fighting chance to actually maintain the no sugar habit unless you really got these other more foundational skills at first.
Yes, it's so true, Dan. Just to
Yes,
fast
that's
from
so
sugar and
good.
do it through willpower. Yeah, that's a lot of willpower. But
Because you might have just had like a piece of a bagel for breakfast.
Yeah.
No protein anchoring, and then you're saying don't have sugar
Your
in your
body's
coffee
gonna
at
be
10:30 and
screaming for
Yeah.
sugar.
It actually takes a long time too. Like I've been slowly, probably since September, I've really been
Yeah.
trying to dial it in. And I've learned, you learn little pieces and you take your little piece that you learned and you build on it and you build
Yeah.
on it. But it actually it's taken me way longer than I thought, even just to modify my breakfast. But I finally, Amy Gaskin shared one with me that she does. And I'm like, dang, that was really good. She's like, I have my coffee, my collagen,
Yeah.
a handful of berries. And I use like, I think she does the Ezekiel raisin
Yeah.
English muffin. I found Ezekiel raisin toast or
Yeah, I
whatever
love that
bread.
stuff,
And you pop that in. It's so good with the
crack.
raisins in there. You put some butter on it. It's good.
Yeah, I love practical
Yeah.
Amy, man. She brings it for women. And she's talking about the optimized collagen because that has her
Yeah,
protein.
that's right.
So
and you're not separating fuels, I hope.
No.
no, because you're at a very healthy body fat, body muscle.
Men too.
Yeah.
I think, do the first 3, don't even worry about separating fuels until you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
that's with women, but especially with men. They have more muscle and their
Yeah.
metabolism just responds to clean eating.
and you really only need to separate fuels if you want to accelerate weight loss. That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't need to.
Just the skills without skill 4 typically help. The weight gain will stop usually. And unless you have a really, really, bad case of insulin resistance, usually it will slightly go down just because you've cleaned so much up and because your body's running on protein now. But if you really want some stubborn fat layers to go, then we bring in skill 4.
So that your body can start burning your own adipose tissue. Yes.
So I'm excited for this book. I'm excited to buy a couple copies. It's kind of a hard book to gift sometimes because, I don't know. I think
Yeah, but
gifting
you
a
know
health
what? We
book,
didn't say
but-
weight loss on the front.
Yeah,
What did we
so that helps
say?
a lot.
We I think this is giveable, and we
Yeah.
thought about that because so many women asked us for it. There is no get skinny in the title.
Yeah. Like you need this. Yeah, you don't want to be
None of that.
But,
I
yeah.
think because it says to lasting health, I think it's more an approachable title.
For all the people that need transformation, like we did title that.
We all do.
But everyone wants to have lasting health.
Yeah.
That's a gift that we all long to be given. Lasting health.
So coming back to the sugar thing, I wanted to highlight a product because I feel like the company was kind of built off this product, right? Because that was the first big thing. And the plan, it was kind of like, hey, you got to go off of sugar, but that doesn't mean you can't have sweet things. You should always satisfy that sweet tooth. You just don't want to do it with sugar. And that's why
there-
a big lineup of stevia we have,
Was
right?
there a statement like you fight chocolate with chocolate? Is that famous statement?
You made that up.
Yeah. Okay,
Serene,
great.
you created that.
You're quoting yourself. Fantastic.
I actually forgot, just so you know, I wasn't trying to
Oh.
that was me? Oh, no. But so you have to fight a sweet tooth with sweets.
And the good sweets. So yeah, you brought gentle sweet, but we started with stevia. That's a blend of
Yep.
stevia, erythritol, and xylitol. And we need to talk about those. Yeah.
This is the first one I fell in love with. I mean,
Okay.
as soon as I tasted this, because I'd had stevia before, but I think even what I had was like really cheap stevia, which was like stevia already has like a bit of a taste, but cheap stevia even more.
Yeah.
And then I had pure like good stevia. I was like, oh, this is better. And then gentle sweet, I was like, oh man, this is like really rounded.
Do you personally
Yeah.
do the one with xylitol as well, or do you get stomach upset? I do the gentle sweet with the
Yeah.
erythritol only and the stevia because my stomach gets a little gurgly.
I've had both.
And,
I can't even tell the difference.
No, some people don't.
And I don't
I
have a
can't
problem
tell
with
the
either.
difference.
Yeah. But I love gentle sweet. I actually have it at least once a day in my coffee,
Yeah.
if not more, as I use it to sweeten everything now. We're having a sale on these right now, actually.
Yeah.
For everybody listening for today, at least for this week, for Mother's Day, we are having a sale on all the sweeteners.
Says the communications manager.
Of course, of course. Got
I
to
would
plug
know
the
when
sales.
the sale's on.
But I think that's a big part of Trim Healthy Mama is stevia. How did you discover stevia to begin with?
We kind of had it as part of our lifestyle, but we had the gross stuff
Yeah.
that tasted bitter and awful.
Serene's okay with bitter. She didn't want to spike
I like
the blood
a little
sugar.
bitter. Yeah. And so, but when we started finding these secrets that were just allowing us to feel so in control of our weight during our childbearing years, because that's when we began this Trim Healthy plan. Like, tummies were going out, they were going in, they were going out, they were going in. We were pregnant, not pregnant, pregnant, not pregnant. And we just knew that, especially during pregnancy, you're predisposed to diabetes, gestational diabetes. So we're just trying to we don't want a honey in every drink, We're not against honey, but the way
We actually love honey.
Yeah, but I eat honey, but I don't want to put it in every single thing that I want sweet, because that was going to be spiking my blood sugar. So we did do stevia, and but then when we started the Trim Healthy Mama plan, we told of a company that was like, okay, this one actually tastes good, and they weren't prepared for the big amount of influx of people. And so they had to look for another source as well.
They got bought out by Trim Healthy Mama readers.
Yeah, and so they looked for another source of stevia, and it was not as good. And everybody was complaining to us, like, oh my goodness, our brownies taste like kerosene. They taste medicinal. We can't do this plan anymore. So then we decided to go hunt for the most pure, organic, like me being the purist. We flew over, we met the gardeners, like the little old ladies that like stooping and picking the stevia leaves. This particular farm that we still get our stevia from, they don't even run tractors on it. It's all no diesel equipment.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I didn't know we went
So
that
we
far.
sourced the most
we
pure
went that
stevia.
far.
Stevia, yeah.
We went that
Yeah.
far. And getting there was very harrowing, actually. But we need to talk about stevia, because once again, I mean, it is being sensationalized just this week. Serena and I have enjoyed stevia for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I had lots of babies on stevia, just for the people that think it gives miscarriages.
I'm not growing an extra horn. I am in fantastic health. So is Serene. But, at first, we were really defending stevia against all the people that said it causes infertility.
Can I just stop for a second? We had when we first started Trim Healthy Mama, and we almost had, our recipes had a little bit more stevia than they do now. Now it's a little bit more of the blends. We had letters after letters after letters, emails now, of THM babies.
Yeah,
People with infertility finding their fertility again because the inflammation went down from their sugar lifestyles, and they were able to conceive.
Yeah, so we were like, oh my goodness, this is great. THM is like the fertility cult, right? Yeah. But then people started hearing about us and blogged about us, saying that Serena and Pearl are causing all sorts of infertility by promoting stevia. So
they actually said it was our plan. Now, we're the woman that were having a heap of babies and saying babies are a blessing of the Lord, and they're like, they want your babies to die.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's crazy people out there.
Yeah, but anyway, we got to the bottom of it because we wanted to know, right?
Yeah.
We were in our fertility years too. We're not going to tell people to take things and take things ourselves if it is.
So you dug deep. Did you find any research?
So deep. We found research that completely made us feel so peaceful and wonderful. We don't tell people go eat stevia when you're pregnant, but we certainly did, and we're fine with people doing it. Fine. We've actually got articles about it, and the truth is sugar causes infertility. I mean, the consumption, the way it's consumed in this society, causes blood sugar to go up, fertility to go down.
Suck on a sugar cane from the field, that's not going to cause infertility, but the devitalized poison that's in the supermarkets today and hidden in so many of our foods that are on our tables and in our kitchens, that causes infertility.
Yeah, we have an article, I think it's on our website, called Stevia and Honey, something like that. It goes into both of them.
Yep. It's on trimhealthymama.com.
Yeah, it's there, but if you want the science, about the fertility, but now it's not fertility. Now it's other things like stevia causes you to urinate more. Stevia.
Yeah. Well, so does watermelon.
So does celery. So does coffee. I mean, it causes you to urinate, according to the study, a little tiny bit more. I haven't noticed that, but I notice when I drink coffee, I pee like I'm an elephant. Yeah. But I'm not stopping my coffee. Celery.
And you don't put stevia in your coffee, so it's not that.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes I do. But if I just have plain coffee, it's the same thing. It makes
me pee. I'm a black coffee person.
So many foods are diuretics. We need diuretics in our life, right? And the other thing, there's a recent study. It was just 16 people. The study even itself said this is not causative. We need more studies. They found they put people on quite a large dose of stevia.
Usually they do, when in these studies, it's massive doses, and then they take away their hydration too. So it's almost they're trying to do a toxic effect.
when you're doing stevia, you're not doing sugar, right? Because you already got enough sweet. So when you go off sugar, you get a little stressed. Your body is used to high blood sugar.
That's right.
It goes down. Your cortisol goes up a little. There was a little bit of an up in cortisol. So people right now, cortisol is buzzword, right?
Yeah.
Stevia causes cortisol to go up. There was no causative thing in the study. People were going off sugar onto a little bit of stevia, and there were some the first 2 weeks of going off sugar are hard on your body.
Well, they even say keto, you know, when you're
Yeah.
taking you're taking your carbs down a little bit. I'm not for keto, but it's just that same kind of premise. Your blood sugars are lowering, and they call it the keto flu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel like you
Yeah.
can hardly walk up the stairs because you're not used to your blood sugar not being so high.
Low carb meals themselves cause you to excrete more urine.
Right.
I mean, carbs help you hold on
When
to
my
glycogen in your
husband went
muscles.
on a GLP-1 because he needed to, we tried everything. We ticked all the boxes. He's got all his foundation laid, but he had trouble genetically with his blood sugar. And we put him on a GLP-1. And the first few weeks, I think his cortisol must have raised. He was not used to not having high blood sugar. He felt exhausted. He felt tired. But as soon as his body got used to it, I'm telling you what, he doesn't have the same cortisol as he did when he had high blood sugar because he had inflammation and he had, weight around his middle. He doesn't have that now because he's got less cortisol when everything evened out.
Yeah. So we've covered like all the reasons why like you can defend stevia to the nth degree. And I've seen some of my favorite like nutrition influencers, I guess you'd call them, like rank stevia as like the highest of the high when it comes to sugar alternatives. And sugar is like really the enemy. That's where you can find data and research after research report about the problems of sugar. The thing I love about it though is that you can honestly, like every time I go to the cafe and I order sweets, I feel really good.
Oh,
about
the
it.
Trim Healthy Cafe?
I can get a
Yeah.
mocha, I can get cheesecake,
Yeah,
and
I
they
know.
taste amazing. And I'm like, man, like it's really easy to go off of sugar when you have plenty of like really good, really tasty
I
alternatives.
think that's why hundreds of thousands of women broke
Yeah.
the sugar habit with Trim Healthy, and they couldn't do it before just on
Yeah.
willpower, because we say, hey, enjoy this. You know, as
Enjoy
women,
food.
you know, all of us as God's children are receivers, right? We have to be receivers to experience this new life. But as women, receiving is our superpower.
It is.
And when we look at all the good, sweet things that God has given us to eat, including a leaf that's stevia, yes, including monk fruit, including other natural sweeteners,
Yep.
Including honey in
you know,
moderation.
yeah, monk fruit's the new darling, but we
Yeah.
love monk fruit too. And someone's going to do a
Yeah.
blog about that soon. You watch. I mean,
Yeah.
monk fruit's going to
Yeah.
come under scrutiny. But when we receive all these beautiful, healthy, sweet things, like you said, you can go to the cafe and get them, or some women are baking them in their own home from our recipe books. We receive that. We're joyful. We can do without the oppression of sugar because we're filling our lives up with good gifts.
I agree. And, it just reminds me, and I don't have the studies anymore.
Speak it to the mic, not
It just
over there.
reminds me, and I don't have the studies anymore because I haven't thought about this for a long time. But it was like when butter was shamed. And because the hydrogenated vegetable oil, the margarine kind of industry was wanting that to be the darling. And they started to tell people that they were going to die of heart attacks and everything from butter. A natural, wonderful food got demonized because they wanted something else to shine. And, sugar cane is a natural food. But like I said before, the poison that we call sugar today is not natural. It's devitalized and it's perverted. And there's a lot of money behind the sugar industry.
And it's in amounts we were never supposed to consume.
Right. And there's a lot of money behind
Yeah.
that.
Ooh.
And not only money behind the sugar industry like there is in the tobacco industry, right?
Yeah.
There's also a lot of sickness help money because of sugar. Like people get diseases. And so, the powers that be don't want foods out there that are going to make people healthy.
Big
I don't
sugar
know.
coming after you, aka Big Pharma. Uh-oh. So gentle sweet, stevia, is it super sweet? No.
Yeah, super sweet.
Super sweet, yeah.
There's
All
a
the different
just-
versions we have.
There's
yeah.
a few people that just really love super sweet, like Coach KJ.
Yeah, she was just she loves the strength of it. But we are coming out with a new form of things too. Sugar swap drops. They're going to be like a beautiful
Yes.
drops.
I've tasted it. It tastes
Oh
amazing.
my goodness. We've got a stevia form and a monk fruit form. So those ones aren't blends. They don't have erythritol or xylitol. Those things have come under attack too. We've been using those for 20 years too and are just fine.
Yeah.
But they're just a pure drop of monk fruit or stevia, and they're yummy. That's exciting. That's going to come out in the next few months. So they're going to be added to our sweetener line.
So I just want to remind everybody, when you read blogs these days, there's a lot of sensationalism, and we have to just kind of calm down, take a deep breath, and think about things for a while. You know, like, ooh, Stevia causes you to urinate. And we're thinking about other wonderful natural foods that we feed our families at 4th of July picnics, like watermelon. It's very strong diuretic.
Yeah.
But, you know, the other sensational thing about erythritol a few years back was it's a pest control. It makes fruit flies die. Okay, well, it's not sugar. It is calorie free. Fruit flies, they live off of sugar. So if you put them in a jar, put a lid on it where they can't escape, there's no oxygen or whatever, and give them no food, they're going to die of starvation.
So my husband feeds hummingbirds. And what does he make to feed them? Sugar with water, right? If he put erythritol with water, they would die. They need that high sugar.
They need fuel to flap their wings a million times. And fruit flies, they need sugar. And we don't need sugar in every drink.
Yeah.
We need complex carbohydrates in our meals. We need a honey and a tea occasionally if we want that. But we don't need sugar in every sip we take in our mouths. So we want fuel-less sweeteners sometimes.
You're not doing this every second. That was so exhausting.
Yeah. You really don't realize how much sugar you intake until you try to get rid of it all. And then you realize, you're like, oh my gosh, that's right. It's in ketchup. In fact, this is just pure sugar. I'm pretty much covering breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I have my, you know, if I'm eating cereal before bed, it's pretty much sugar.
But do you know what's, Dan? Okay, I've got 2 questions to ask you then. It's a question and a comment. I'll just start with the comment first. When we first started Trim Healthy, though, it was tougher. People had to come to us, and, you know, because we were like giving them a good tasting stevia. We still have it. But now you can go to the jolly Walmart and get a stevia sweetened ketchup. You know, there's so many things available to us right now.
Yeah.
And I hope the sensationalism doesn't cause, you know, Heinz or whatever company it is to just go sugar ketchup only because of the pressure of Stevia's the new baddie. You know, I hope that doesn't happen. But you said you'd kind of started getting sugar out of your diet since September. What have you noticed?
I don't need it as much because I have different alternatives. And I find if I substitute things, I'm very big into substitution. Like, what can I find that's actually better than what I'm currently eating? And I don't crave it as much.
Has anything happened to your body composition, your well-being, anything like, you're already a pretty healthy guy. I mean, I've known you for a few years. Have you noticed any benefits at all? Or are you doing this just because you want optimal health?
I think I just started feeling the effects of aging. I'm not that old, but like, you know, you start getting like I injured my knee just doing a simple drill with the soccer, you know, and I'm like, oh, I got to start dealing with this stuff. I'm also playing for the longevity game. Someone put an idea in my head. They're like, how old do you want to be? And you're like, oh, I've never had that question asked for me. And once that got planted in my mind of like, hey, most people have an idea of like how old they want to be. And they're like, why not pick 150? I know it sounds crazy, but it's kind of like, well, like, do you want to, I don't know, but I've started asking multiple people that question. They're like, well, I don't want to be 90 years old because I've seen 90-year-olds. And I'm like, well, like, if you live well now, you can actually probably have a pretty vibrant 90s, maybe even older with tech.
There was Caleb in the Bible that says, I'm 80, stronger now than I'm 80 than when I was 40. Give me the high country. And that's kind of my contending passion. I'm like, I want to be 80 and going to be like, I remember when I was 40 and I used to feel whatever, you know, because I've been contending so long. I want to have like just have a better feeling of well-being. And I just feel like God gives us 120.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything less unless he decides.
Right.
Well, have you noticed any body comp differences or anything, or were you trim then too?
No, I'm about the same size, and because I've been lifting, I've actually gotten bigger.
Oh, so you're leaner. You're leaner.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely leaner. And I got a bunch of blood work done in the fall, and I'll probably do it again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll report back
Yeah.
on what my blood work numbers are, because that's what I'm really trying to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that high cholesterol, like many men who start approaching 40, becomes the problem. But
Right.
I've learned from each of you.
Well,
that
I've
it's
looked at
actually
your
other
blood
things.
work.
Yeah.
And I think, the little things, actually, you're a really healthy guy. But the little things like some high triglycerides are going to come down now.
Yeah.
Because sugar raises them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since in anticipation of the unboxing of the book, we did ask the audience and did a poll we asked them which part of building lasting health feels the hardest for you right now. And this was the answers. In fact, I'll give you the options we gave, and then I'll tell you what they were. We had staying consistent when life gets busy, knowing what to eat day to day, breaking old habits, getting back on track after slipping, and believing lasting change is possible. Any ideas on what the top one was?
I think mindset comes into it all, but I bet you that's not what they all picked, because what feels pressing is a busy life. So whatever is closest to that, I think, would have come up.
That is definitely number one at 43%.
43%. And what was it exactly then?
Staying consistent when life gets busy.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's easy to kind of start strong at the first, and that's when you're pretty much relying on pure willpower at that point. And you're making hard choices. You haven't built into it. You haven't found substitutes you love yet. And you're pretty much just eating vegetables.
Like lean chicken and vegetables.
Have you ever done a Daniel fast and just gone pure raw vegetables? It is excruciating.
Well,
I'd rather not eat. It's that
I
hard.
lived like that for years.
She was a raw foodist, so.
Yeah, psycho.
Yeah.
So what was second?
Second was knowing what to eat day by day.
Okay, so.
I'd like to speak to that busy though when I get a chance.
Yeah.
And then the last three were kind of a tie between 10%, 9%, and 8%, where breaking old habits, getting back on track after slipping, and believing the lasting change possible was kind of a draw.
What was
between
the
them.
second one again?
It was knowing what to eat day by day.
Right.
So the skills are gonna help with all that.
Can I touch the number one, then you touch the number two?
Yeah.
I think the number one would be utilizing simple, mindless foods for when life gets busy. Our life is super, super crazy busy. And I just remember in my past when I had a really, really crazy time, and I think I've talked about it on a podcast before. I know I have. When I had two sons in the hospital at the same time, one in the trauma ward because he was had a head-on car collision and he was like in a coma and they didn't know he'd come out. Then another one in the critical ward, 3 flights down with cancer. And that was a very, very busy time. I was hardly in the house and I was at the hospital, but back and forth because I had the little children at the home. It was a crazy time. And smoothies were my answer, because, you can throw all your superfoods and you can make them yummy. It can almost be like tropical this, or, like
chocolate,
cinnamon and
butter.
chai this, or chocolate, and I had a little doctor's bag. I called it my doctor's bag. It was a black pouch, one of these insulated things with a couple of ice little packs. It wasn't like a big esky, we call them esky, big cooler that you had to cart around, put in the back of the car. No, I could fling it over my shoulder, and in it was 4 smoothies. And I just pack it every day. Boom. It took me like a minute per smoothie.
And you took some like nuts and stuff too.
Oh, yeah. So I had my doctor's bag, and I had, and I loved my smoothie. They were delicious. Pearl would like bring one for me.
That was her original Yuck Yum smoothies.
And then I would throw like walnuts, some hunks of Gouda cheese, like a little punnet of blueberries or whatever. And I would just go, and maybe we'd go to a restaurant and I could find my salmon and sweet potato or whatever, but the doctor's bag was always there. And if I didn't eat a smoothie, I'd come home and pour it in little popsicles for my children, and freeze it. So it was like the busiest season, but let's not forget about the blender, and it serves us.
I think so. And I don't love smoothies. But for me, my life has to be simple too. And I think that's why Serena and I, and the woman that we talk about in here that have sustained things, they make things simple. Yes, we have lots of recipe books, but do you know why? Because, well, first off, we can't stop making recipes because we're foodies and it's fun. But there's certain things that suit some people, and some people don't like and want certain things. So we want something for everyone. But once you've got those meals, you just put them on repeat. Like, you don't need too many. Like, for me, I would tell you my day. It's so easy. I can never get busyness throwing me off because my life is my eating life is too easy.
Yeah.
So unless on the weekend I want to make healthy pancakes or something, it's either eggs or oatmeal. My oatmeal always has a protein. Mm-hmm. It's either of those two. Mm-hmm. And then for lunch, I like sandwiches. I usually almost always have a sandwich and it's going to have my protein, it's going to have my veg, it's going to have my healthy carb.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, I always have a large salad with hot protein and yummy, delicious treasures on top. That's my life. I'm so satisfied. Sometimes I change it up and I'll, have a sweet potato for lunch and I'll stuff it instead of a sandwich. But usually it's the same thing and I don't have to think about it.
We're all creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And I find it's like, you can really change a lot and you can take your sweet time in trying to figure out how to change it. But like, if everybody knows the things that they eat all the time.
Yeah.
You have a habit. I used to eat quesadillas, like white tortillas, tons of cheese. And I would do this multiple times a week. It was a habit.
Yeah.
And now I have different habits.
Yes.
I've recently gone sandwich and it's just turkey and Ezekiel bread.
It's
And
me
I have the
too.
avocado mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. I
From
love
Costco,
it.
that stuff from Costco.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a great one.
Chosen
And
Foods.
I'm at goal weight and I train hard, so my go-tos are a little different. They don't separate fuels at all, and they're very high calories. So like I'll wake up and as soon as my feet hit the floor, essential immediately. I just bookend.
So for new people in the room, Essential is our EAA powder that gives you the protein you need straight directly to your muscles.
Yeah, so I just take care of I'm a mama to my muscles.
Yeah.
And I look after them immediately. And then I'll just waft around doing my little thing. But when I go down for breakfast, it's always like a piece of sourdough bread or two, toasted, and it's like artisan spelt, organic spelt or rye or something. And then 3 fried eggs and coconut oil or pastured butter with some kind of like healthy Gouda cheese or whatever. And then I have a glass of whole milk. And then at 10:30, I might have like a matcha with a little raw cream in it. I'm just telling you, a teaspoon of honey.
Yeah.
Then at lunchtime, it's always my kefir smoothie, and it's chock filled with like raw egg yolks and superfoods and everything. In the afternoon tea, it's berries and a whey shake with whole milk again. At nighttime, it's salmon and sweet potatoes, or grass-fed beef and sweet potatoes, and something and sweet potatoes.
But you didn't figure all that out all at once. It's
No.
taking time to figure
Yes.
out what little pieces you like, which things are actually better for you, and you kind of swap things out slowly but
Yeah.
surely.
But
It
I
took a
will
long
rinse and
time.
repeat that day.
Yeah.
I don't really want anything different.
And some women do want variety.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have 3 breakfasts, 3
Yeah.
lunch, 3 dinners that you can change up with. But you don't need 17.
Starts with one though,
You
and then you
don't-
add
yeah,
a
you
second
need
one. You
one.
you make small tweaks over
Find
time.
the ones you don't need 17 dinners.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a 2-week rotation and every night is different, I feel sorry for you.
So
So you're not going to sustain your life.
We're covering that what to eat, when to eat. It should never be like, oh, what should I eat? What do you want to eat?
Yeah.
And what is easy?
But skills mean that comes like Dan's saying slowly. We're not expecting you. My first backward lunge, as Serene said, was laughable.
Yeah.
So, the woman saying what to eat when, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little hard at first to figure out, well, what can I eat that's healthy?
Yeah.
I used to eat the Pop-Tart.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on, now I'm not eating the Pop-Tart. What am I eating?
Right.
Like,
So much
what the heck?
change.
You
Yeah.
but slowly it will come.
Yeah.
And
I
I,
love
want, I want
that.
you to get this book because it's going to
Yeah.
help you.
And I love that, Grace. I'm all about that, Grace. But I just meant, don't think, what are we telling you?
Yeah.
What casserole and meat and 3 it is for the Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
that stress. I want it to be like, I love to feed my families lasagna. Okay, look up the website. What does Trim Healthy have? They have a recipe for substituting for
Yeah.
lasagna? Yes, lazy lasagna, and it's delicious, and even lasagna eaters love
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
that's
Right? So what do you want to eat? We can tweak it for you. We've got a recipe out there somewhere.
That's so
Yes, we do.
true. If you have a food you love, we have a recipe for it.
Yep, it's on trimhealthymama.com.
Yeah, it
and you go
is.
to there's a search page on there where you
Yeah.
can actually filter down, like, I want a breakfast meal that's Mexican. Okay, maybe not that particular combination, but like you can go and filter it down.
And you
find it.
guys, you need to
Yeah.
thank Dan for this because this used to be behind our membership wall. And Dan's
Mm.
like, no, everyone needs this. Everyone needs your recipes. And
That's
yes,
the key.
we're bringing out more cookbooks, but we want these to be free. So on our actual website right now is a whole huge, like conglomeration of trim healthy recipes that you can just type in and it will give it to you.
Yeah.
So we want people to know what they're going to eat and when.
Yeah. You said EAAs, right? I want to do a whole episode on those. Actually, I have no idea what those are.
Yeah.
It's a whole product
You always
we kind of
glaze
have no
over
idea what they
it.
are.
Yeah.
I think we need to do in the future.
Have you had them
in just a
before?
few weeks? I haven't had them before, and I don't know anything about them. I know it's like protein. I'm like, I don't know what they
But
are.
this is so Dan. You can tell he does one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's
I'm a
great,
slow
Dan.
learner. I'm a
I
slow
know, I
learner, but I
love
learn a
it.
lot.
It sticks when you do
Yes,
something.
Yes.
In 2 weeks, I want to do just a whole week dedicated to nothing but protein, and we'll cover
Okay.
those.
Yes.
So we'll have it. What's coming up? But I do want to come back to one major question. I think it's a lot of question people ask. But a lot of people discover Trim Healthy Mama. And of course, a big topic or a thing that they're thinking about is like, I need to lose weight. I need to hit my goal size. I haven't been able to get the weight off since 2 babies ago. Very common thing. I see it all the time. You could see the post on Facebook and you could see it. I'm in the communities. I'm obviously not a mama, but I see the mamas, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a woman's name to be in the communities, or you're?
No, not in that community.
He's on the
I'm
fan
not in
page.
your community. I'm just saying within my own community, my own circle of
You're
friends
Danielle.
and
No, I'm
family on Facebook.
Danielle.
So I know it's a relevant thing. And I know it's an ever-present thing. You look in the mirror and you're like, that's not what I used to look like. So what do you recommend for women who are like, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of looking like this. What do I need to do? They just kind of pick up the skills and start working at it? Or is it like different depending on how much you need to lose? Or how do you approach this?
I would just say the first thing you do, and sorry for butting in. Would you like to
And there's a microphone
yes.
that's not to your left. You know,
She's
how
such
many
a big
years,
controlling
how many
sister.
years have we done the podcast?
I thought you read this book called Let Them.
Oh, I did. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Don't be heard. Let her. Let her do it.
No, I appreciate it. I think the first thing to do is to just take a deep breath and know that there is hope, and you don't have to do another unsustainable, miserable rat race Spartan approach. Gone are those days. Gone are those days. It doesn't have to be hard for you. I want them to hear this message before that they even start, where they're right at in their broken hopelessness. I want them to know that done are the hard days. Done are the days where they had to still war about food in their head and battle it out in the gym and just feel like they have to fight against their own bodies and fight against the joy of life. I want to say there are 7 skills. And those 7 skills are gentle. They're a light burden. And I love that scripture that says he gently leads those with young. And you may not have young. You might be postmenopause grandmother. But you're still a woman, and women need to be gently led. And I love also that verse that says his burden is easy, his yoke is light. And these 7 skills are going to feel like a light yoke. Start with that soft breeze on your forehead.
Oh, I love it, Serene. I don't think I could say it better, because I think women have pushed themselves to the limit, and that's why they're where they are, because of the unsustainable things they've been forced into. And I think we've been sold a bill of goods that is not for women.
I don't even think it feels right to want to beat yourself, because you're so mad at yourself for having it letting yourself get to a state, or like you're looking at yourself, you're like, that's right, I need to go hard, you know, almost like you, like, what do they call that? Self-flagellation, or like kind of like beat yourself.
It's like, grr, get this weight off now.
Yeah.
But like Serene said, it has to be gentle or it won't be lasting, right? It won't be lasting.
Yeah.
And whenever it's fast, whenever it's brutal, whenever it's unsustainable, whenever it is removing food groups that your body needs, that your body was made to thrive on, it's not lasting. And we go into the science in here too, in this tiny little book, even the science and the scriptures, to just make it clear for once and for all. So you can stand upon it and think, hold on. No, when this new tangent comes out, when that new influencer says, hold up, this new food group is off limits. We weren't made to eat carbs, or we weren't made to eat 3 times a day.
You
or
meant to do an hour of fasted cardio in the gym.
Yeah.
On rising.
Then you can just weigh it in the balance and say, was this for me? Is this what she's talking about, or he? For me, as a woman. And usually the answer is no. Let that go. Let that go down the news feed. Let me keep on the sane, sensible path, and then it will happen.
And take this in balance, because, you know, there's a lot of joy sometimes in eating a good old slurp from the Dairy Queen or something, and joy in eating a pack of donuts. Maybe there's joy, you know, but that's not even food, right? That's just, it's not even normal. But I feel like your metabolism does not want to work with you when you're not joyful, when you don't have love as the impetus. So, if you're in a diet or you have restrictions over you that is making you miserable, your body's not going to respond. I remember going to bed at 8:30. My children and family want to party with me. They want to have fun. And I'm like, miserable mum is going to bed because I'm going to be waking up at 4 a.m. and hitting the gym, right? Not that I had massive weight loss, but I had this drive to have like control, this drive, like I am going to stay this weight that kills me. And those years, I had adrenal burnout from those years. So if you don't have joy, your metabolism is not going to want to get on board and shake hands and say, yes, let me be your friend and let me help you. It's not going to want to help you.
You can only willpower your way through so much, which is why willpower can't carry us into lasting health. It can kind of get you through a 30-day boot camp, and I think that's why all the influencers push, those 30-day boot camps. We get results in a short amount of time. And you're like, yeah, when you go hard, it's possible.
With
but
water
is it
weight
sustainable?
And muscle loss.
Yeah.
But not really true weight loss.
Yeah. So I love that it's taking a sustainable approach. It's talking about it as skills. It's talking about it in, I don't know, I like to think about it as micro adjustments, like building small habits that can build on itself so that you can actually sustain it for the future. So
Pearl, I remember you telling me something once, and you're talking about, you read this book, it was about micro habits, and the guy was like, I'm just going to do a push-up. That's my goal. I'm just going to do one push-up. He allowed it to be a gentle thing, right? And then when he was down in the position to do one, he just decided, well, it wouldn't hurt me to do two, right? It's like Dan.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what essential is yet. He's just like, let me start with a skill.
Yeah.
Let me just get rid of sugar, and I'm gonna try gentle sweeten my coffee, and let me just get that
protein.
down.
He's a protein nerd now.
And so I love that. I love the fact that it can be just an easy road, entry easy.
yeah, you'd be amazed how many times I've had to ask Amy Gaskin, like, wait, what is it optimized again? Like, what does that even mean? Now I get it, but it took me a long time. I had to be explained to me like 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, even I've
before I
done it a
got
couple of times to you. And
Yes,
you're like,
you
yeah,
do.
we're going to go
Yeah.
into that more. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally figured that one out, but I know there's a lot more to figure out. That's why I'm looking forward to reading the book. Even though I've already read the plan, I think organizing it in my mind around skills will help even more. So I think that's the pod. But if you're looking at this and you're finishing strong with us, know this, you can pre-order this. If you get it at Christian Book, you get extra bonuses. But no matter where you order it, pretty much everywhere books are sold, lots of bonuses. Go to store.trimhealthymama.com and you can get all the bonuses there.
And I'd kind of like to say, I don't really love telling people go get our book, but right now in this culture, I feel like there's a need for this information because we have so many voices that are loudest in the room saying humans are not omnivores, which is actually what we are. Humans are carnivores, or humans are only made to fast and not eat regularly, or there are so many loud voices, and so many people are feeling so confused still, so frustrated, so turning their head this way and that way, that they get to the point where they're like done, and they're just like, well, I'm just going to eat a donut. I don't care. When we first started Trim Healthy, things were confusing, yes, because there was, I think you had Atkins, low carb, and then you had
South Beach
and vegan. Okay, there was this little extreme called HCG diet.
Yeah.
You heard of that?
I mean, there's the Maker's Diet. That's what I read.
Yeah, well, okay, well, that was pretty sound.
Yeah.
But not many people,
But it wasn't very thorough.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So out there, you had a few things. Now, there is so much more, and it's so much louder. There were no reels back then. There's no social media influencers. Now we've got it preaching to us that we're supposed to not eat that and not eat that and not eat that and not eat that, and pretty soon you're left with about 10 things.
I want you to feel something for me. I want you to feel just all that we can't control in this world today, right? We've got wars going on, everything's crazy. Take away the 7 skills from your life. You're postmenopausal right now. Take away the 7 skills and sit in that feeling for a little bit.
Oh,
I just imagined just a
never
few
done
seconds ago when you
that.
said, I want you to buy this book. I'm not trying to sell you our book, but I want this because I want it for you. And I thought to myself, I put myself in the position of not having the 7 skills. Like we take it for granted.
I know.
I'm like, okay, if I didn't have the 7 skills and you were talking about all these reels and all of this confusion and all of this, like, blogger fighting against blogger. And it's just, they all have their studies to back them up. And I'm like, like if I was in a metabolic broken state, or I was just a young mom, like, how am I going to navigate this? We want 5 children. How's this going to even work? Am I going to look like the same woman? Like all of that, all of it. If I didn't have the 7 skills, I just realized what a beautiful, safe place to land it's been.
Serene, I've never thought about it. When you asked me to take them away, that feeling was so lost and brutal. This, the 7 skills, it's so peaceful. It's so anchored. And my mind doesn't have to be going to the left and to the, to and fro.
Health, diet, exercise, and all that. That's not something we worry about. Because we just have these skills.
It's just...
You just named off a bunch of different like fad diets that people follow, which makes me realize, I'm like, you know what I've heard a lot? I don't know what to call it other than like nutrition relativity. You've heard of like moral relativity, like, oh, that's what you believe. Well, this is what I believe in. They can both be right. But that's happening in nutrition too.
It is.
This diet's for me. Oh, that one works best for you. Great. That's great for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because that's happening a lot.
Yes, and I love that. And I think God knows better than me.
Yeah.
Because I could join any one of those, but I don't want that. I want to know what my Creator thinks. And it's right there in the Bible. We're not pretending we took an S meal and an E meal out of the Bible and the Bible calls them that. No, but every food group, which is what changed everything for us, was right there in a scripture that Serene found in Deuteronomy. And they're not only just there, but throughout the entire Bible. And that changed everything for us because when some loud voice came and said, hold on, we've just found out plants are out to kill us because they have lectins and oxalates. Serene and I were like, back to the Bible. Well, hold on, is this right? Because, he knows more than us. Okay, I've given you the plants for your good. I want you to eat them.
Yeah.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah, I'm not kind of like all about this is my blood type, so I'm only allowed to eat these foods, and you've got that blood type, so you're only allowed. I'm just like, that's a whole bunch of like the healthy tribes back when, in Africa where they didn't have cancer and they didn't have all of this stuff, they didn't have food allergies. Were they like getting all their finding out what blood type they were and all that? And nothing wrong with doing that. But I feel like God created the macronutrients. None of us do great when we remove carbohydrates. All humans do bad when we remove all fats. All humans do bad when we remove all proteins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's simple. Maybe
it's not relative.
You don't love, your body doesn't love eggs as much as my body loves eggs. You're
That's
still going to
fine.
have a few eggs. You just may not have 6 a day like me.
Right. Or some people can't, and that's fine too. Some people can't do gluten. My daughter has a immunobody in her blood. I don't have that. I'm fine with gluten, and I eat the
She's
right
not going to
gluten.
say grains are evil, though.
No.
She does teff and she does
Yeah.
kamut and all these
Yes.
ancient grains. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay if some foods aren't for you, but entire food groups are for you.
Yeah.
Food groups are for you. Certain foods in those might not be for you.
Well, that's why God gave us all his wisdom.
Yeah.
And they say like, oh, you can't answer everything from the Bible, but I'm like, you'd be surprised. It can answer a lot.
It's so peaceful. It's just so, oh my goodness, that feeling of not being anchored is really hard. It undoes you.
Yeah.
I love not having to rely on my own relativity. I'd much rather rely on God's.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good note to close out today's podcast then.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.